Good morning, ladies, or evening, wherever you are. I wanted to share this interview with you. It's obviously like you might cry during it, I'm just going to say. I was bawling, and then after we finished the interview, I actually had such a big cry. My beautiful friend Lexi, who I met in Aspen, she actually had a blood clot from being on the pill in her brain. And she had multiple brain surgeries. And it's funny how so many of us, a lot of the doctors don't actually tell us that there is a risk of getting a blood clot. And when we are told there's a risk of getting a blood clot, a lot of us go, oh, well, that won't happen to me. I won't be in that 5%, or I won't be in that 1%. A lot of us do that. It's like, oh yeah, only 1% of people get that, or only 1% of people whatever. But you could be that 1%. Now, don't go say oh my God, so I could be the 1% of the plane that crashes. No. That's not what we're saying. We're saying in terms of, because actually, you've heard, I'm sure many of you have heard the stories about 9/11 and how people had this massive gut feeling of don't get on that plane, and they didn't, and they survived. So I feel like that's a whole nother thing. I was actually living in New York with 9/11. Anyway, whatever. It's for example, actually 9/11, my dad that day, because we were living in New York, he never ever drove to work. You don't really drive to work in New York. Fuck that. The traffic's too bad. You get the subway. But he for some reason drove his car that day, and that was the reason he could get out of the city that day when it happened, because they shut all the subway stations down and whatnot, so trains weren't running. So everyone was really stuck, but he randomly took his car that day, which allowed him to get out of the city and take some friends with him. And it's my uncle was meant to have a meeting in the Twin Towers that day, and then his train was late or something or other, and somebody else we know, a similar thing happened, but he slept through his alarm, intuitive things. Anyway, this is different. This is science tells us there is a 1% chance being on the pill, or whatever the chance is, that you could have a blood clot. And you say to yourself, because it's just being fucking naive. I mean, yes, it's also being positive, and it's being naive a little bit, of that's not going to happen to me. But the thing is, it can happen to you, and it actually happened to Lexi. And there are many girls every year that die from being on the pill. It's not an unknown thing. It is a very known thing that you can die from the pill because you get a brain clot. A brain blood clot is what I meant to say. So this episode is all about Lexi's story, this Cacao Convos. It's about Lexi's story. We talk about being in hospital, things that we've learnt, just the process, the mental battle as much as the physical battle. It's a really beautiful podcast, and I just want to honor her for being on it and sharing her story and being so vulnerable with us. Thank you, Lexi. I really hope that you guys enjoy it. And this is an episode that I would definitely love for you to be able to share on your Instagram story or with friends or whatever, because it just helps women to see the pill is not something you want to fuck around with. It doesn't just oh, it sounds good, cool, done. It's this needs to be a real consideration. If you want to go on the pill, that's totally fine. But like I've said many times before, I just want you all to be fully educated about the pill before you just jump to it as a quote unquote easy option, because it's actually not that much of an easy option. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you love this episode, and I will talk to you all very shortly. Hello and welcome to the Feminine as Fuck podcast. I'm your host, Monica Yates, a period and ICF certified women's life coach, and I help women to harness the power of their period and connect to their feminine flow. In these episodes, we'll be talking about all things periods, hormones, confidence, health, food, money, sex, business, feminine flow, your brain, energy, and all the stuff that goes through our heads. You will walk away from each episode with new chicken nuggets and truth bombs, as I don't have a filter and I love talking about all the shit that people are thinking but too afraid to say. Okay, firstly tell me about these ribbed condoms. Why are they, we're talking about it and referring to my microphone and how it's ribbed and looks like a dick. So what's up with the ribbed condoms?
The ribbed condoms, they feel really... I haven't used one in forever.
Holy shit, Madeline, this fucking cacao is drinking pure cacao. Thick and dark, just how we like it. Could be a fucking tagline for an ad. Thick and dark, just Trademark. How we like it.
Trademark.
Okay, so everybody, this is Lexi, also Lex, Alexis. Any other names? Okay, cool.
Those are my faves.
And today we're having cacaos, and it's 10 p.m. at night. So we won't be able to sleep afterwards. And this is a really special Cacao Convos because I haven't heard this story from Lex before, but Lex is one of the 1% of girls that had a blood clot when she was on the pill. So in case you don't know, when you go to the doctors, they may or may not tell you some of the major risks of being on the pill. And one of them being blood clots. And you can die. Like many women die every year. Not like many, like we're talking thousands of women die every year from blood clots with being on the pill. So it actually isn't uncommon. And a lot of us fall into the trap of thinking, oh, well, I won't be that woman. Oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to me. Well, unfortunately, it happened to Lex. And luckily, she's still here today with us.
Yes.
So do you want to share with us your amazing story?
Yeah.
Just go wherever you want to take it.
Okay, cool. So, and then you can ask any questions.
Yeah, perfect.
So I was a sophomore in college or university.
Okay.
So that was my second year.
Yep. Yeah, we need Australian translation.
Yes. And I had a really weird summer. And I gained a ton of weight and I couldn't shed the weight. Like I was the puffiest I had ever been. Like
yeah, see, puffy is a good word. When you're on the pill, it's like puffiness.
Yeah.
Like you explode like a fucking pufferfish.
Yes.
That's because of the estrogen.
Yeah.
Continue your story.
And my mom was really worried about me because I was running, I was training for a half marathon, and then I started getting up to like 8 or 9 miles, and I would have these really bad headaches and would feel really nauseous and wouldn't be hungry, and it was so weird because I was running a ton. And it was the beginning of school, so it actually happened 2 weeks ago, 9 years ago. And so it was fall time in Colorado, and so I remember it being like just kind of, it was warm but like very crisp air.
Oh, love it, my fave.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Actually, not as good as snow. Continue.
And pretty much I was in a sorority at the time, and we had sorority camp or whatever, rush camp, whatever it's called. And I remember just being so tired. Like I would go to the camp or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
I ended up dropping.
Yeah.
But I would go and I couldn't get through the days. Like I would just be so exhausted. And so then a couple weeks went by after that had happened, and I had one migraine headache, and I had my friend take me to the hospital because Tylenol, Advil, like nothing was working. And we went to the hospital, and they gave me this drug that I grew up having migraines. So because they had the history, they didn't think it was anything concerning.
Can I pause just for a second?
Yeah.
If you have a history of migraines, you actually shouldn't be put on the pill. It's super dangerous to be put on the pill with history of migraines. But a lot of us don't even tell our doctors that. We don't think it's a thing. We create so many of our health problems. We think they're normal. Like we normalize them. We normalize bloating. We normalize migraines. We don't even think to say we're on the pill when they say, are you on any medication? Nope, I'm not on any medication. The pill is a medication.
Yeah. And actually, the pill that they put me on, it was a brand new company.
Yeah.
And so I was just on like the tester once.
Yeah, okay.
And the doctor was like really pushing it. Anyways.
That's always good.
Yeah. Anyways, another week goes by, and I go to some party.
Oh, so you had the migraine.
I had the migraine.
They put you on drugs, and then that was it.
Yeah, they like left me at the hospital. Like they were like, go home, just get rest.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. About a week goes by, and then I go to the party with my friends, and it was, I don't know, some like day party. I have one drink, not even, and I started getting the worst headache again. And so I go home and I tell my friends, like, hey, I'm going to go home. Like, I don't feel well. I have another migraine. I'm going to go rest. And then I go home and I sleep for like maybe 7 or 8 hours.
Wow.
I wake up, I'm like super out of it. I'm still really dizzy. I have like numbness in my fingers. I had like big blotch of like circles, like white spots in my eyes. And I really didn't feel well, but I felt a little bit better than like the pounding migraine that I had beforehand. And also during this time, I remember having like the worst neck pain ever. And I thought that it was just normal, that having neck pain like that. Like I was like, oh, I've just been really stressed. Anyways, I have a little bit of dinner. I go to sleep. I wake up 2 hours later and I cannot stop throwing up. And that went on throughout the entire night. It lasted for 13 hours. And I pretty much had to beg my friend to take me to the hospital.
Wow.
she had class and she was like, I really need to go to class. And I was like, no, you need to take me to the hospital or I'm calling an ambulance. So we go to the hospital, we go to the ER, and they're like, okay, you were here a week ago. Let's do a CAT scan immediately. They find the blood clot in my brain. And then the last thing
they find a blood clot in her brain.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So they found it, and, like, the way that the brain works is you have veins that drain the blood that go from the front of your brain to the back. And one of the main veins in my brain was clogged. So it was, like, pretty much like a pipe that had been clogged. And so during that time, the last thing I remember is my friend sitting to the right of me, the doctor to the left. I was still really nauseous, so I had, like, a tub. And sorry if this is too visual.
There is nothing TMI in here.
Okay.
Go for it.
And I remember he tells me I have a blood clot in my brain, and I'm on the phone with my mom, and I couldn't even speak. I, like, throw up and just give my friend the phone. And I was like all I could say was talk to my mom. Yeah. Tell her to get on a flight to come out here. And so the next thing I remember was waking up in ICU and, like, just having, like, cords attached to me. And I woke up and my mom had, like, gone on the first airplane over to Colorado. She lives in California. And
are you in Denver right now or Boulder?
I was in Boulder.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, they told me I had a blood clot in my brain and I was on blood thinners and they were gonna hope that it would, like, thin itself out. And so it was pretty much a waiting game for me.
How stressful.
Yeah.
Your poor mom as well.
Yeah,
I got a migraine right now, everyone. Not a migraine, like a headache. I feel like my brain is, like, just, like, coming, like, it's reacting to it.
Yeah, and I was still in a lot of pain the first few days. Like, I was on a lot of morphine, a lot of drugs. I was, as my mom would say, a pretty shitty patient.
Yeah.
Since I was
I'm always a shitty patient.
Really impatient.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat the hospital food.
Oh, fuck no. Ew.
I demanded smoothies.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, please, bone broth on tap.
And, but at the same time, I think that I kept a pretty, like, positive attitude throughout all of it. And that really got me through. So I was pretty much in denial in the beginning about it. Like, I thought I was going to be okay. I was planning on going back to school that semester. I thought I was going to be fine. I didn't let my mom pull me out of school. I didn't realize the severity of what I had.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got out of the hospital, so I was there for, like, maybe a week and a half. Maybe more.
Yeah.
They released me from the hospital because I was going literally crazy.
Yeah.
Kept me on blood thinners and told me to come back in. And, like, I kept on getting routine checks of MRIs to check on the blood clot.
Yeah.
And then they tested me for all, like, the clotting disorders and everything, and I tested negative.
Were you still on the pill?
Everything.
Did they tell you to get off the pill?
Oh, yeah, I was instantly off the pill.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good.
Yeah. And so I went back to my apartment, and the day that I got back there, I lived in the basement, and it flooded. So.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I'm getting this story mixed up. That was after. So, first, I went back to the apartment. I was there for, like, a week and a half. And my vision started getting really fucked up. And so my right eye started going cross-eyed.
Whoa.
And this was because pretty much we have spinal fluid that drains through our spine. And from the bottom of your spine, there's, like, a pump. And that circulates throughout your entire body, and this is running your entire lymphatic system, which is so important. For your immune system.
Healing, everything, inflammation,
Yeah. And so my spinal fluid was too high, and it was pushing on my optical nerves. And your optical nerves are in the very back of your brain, so you can actually, if you, like, put pressure on the back of your neck, you can kind of feel where they are. And so I was my spinal fluid wasn't draining properly, so all of the pressure was in the back of my head.
Fuck.
And it literally was making my me cross-eyed. So when I would be in a car, it would look like everything from my right side field was going into the center of what I was looking at. It was probably the trippiest thing I've ever experienced.
Whoa.
It was kind of like waking up in a nightmare, being like, this is my reality. So I had to tape one eye shut for a while. And once they figured that out, instantly I was readmitted to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a spinal tap. And it was so awesome. My dad flew out for that, and he literally held my hands throughout the entire thing. So I was awake for that, and pretty much they put a really big needle in my back and then drained all the spinal fluid.
Oh.
But it was probably one of the biggest releases I've ever had in my entire life.
When I had Quincy like maybe 2 years ago. Quincy is when your tonsils, they fill up with fluid and they start to close your throat. Disgusting, right? So initially I had tonsillitis, had to go on antibiotics, and then it wouldn't go away. And anyway, and I started to not be able to breathe, and of course, like, I might try and tell myself, suck it up and like fix it with essential oils. No amount of essential oils is gonna cut this shit, right? And Mum thought that I was like just being pathetic and whatnot, but then I got to the point where I couldn't breathe. To the hospital, they had to put a needle into my tonsil and drain all the fluid. It was disgusting, but it felt like it's an immediate release.
Yeah. So that release was incredible. And I'll never remember that day after that happened. I just wanted to be outside.
Never remember or never forget?
I'll never forget. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'll never forget walking. Went on this walk with my dad, and pretty much a doctor came in and told me that I needed to be rushed into surgery. Like, I had like however many hours.
Yeah.
Like, they were planning this surgery. And so I asked them, I was like, can I go on a walk with my dad? And so they let me go outside and like go on a walk through this beautiful park with my father, and I just like started asking my dad about like dying and death and like just really coming to terms with it. And it was so crazy, but like I really felt comfortable and also so sure that I was going to be okay. But it was such like a healing experience to have him there and just like hear his whole outtake on it.
Are parents together or they're not?
They're not.
Okay, right, okay.
Yeah. And I actually wasn't talking to my dad before this.
Okay.
Because he like didn't really want to pay for university for me.
Okay.
So it was such like a healing experience.
Beautiful.
And just a little side note, I had written in a journal like beforehand all the stuff I wanted to manifest, and one of them was healing my relationship with my father.
Aww.
And everything that I wrote down had manifested itself within like 2 months.
Yeah.
Which was really powerful. So, anyways, I'm rushed into that surgery, and pretty much they go in, like, I'm still awake for this.
Yeah.
And it's like microscopic, so it's not like an open brain surgery.
Okay. Oh, but it was brain surgery.
Yeah.
Jesus, my head is like pounding right now. Continue.
And I remember being awake in the room, and it was like so fucking trippy.
Wait, you were awake when they were in your brain?
A lot of the times for
I know they are, but I kind of like
surgery,
didn't really.
You have to be like partially awake.
Yeah.
And I had food that morning, so they like for sure couldn't put me under. But I've always had a huge fear of going fully under.
Okay.
I like don't.
It is scary. It is. I've gone under so many times, and it never gets easier. Like it's always scary. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, losing consciousness. Weird. So, anyways, then after that, I was on something called a TP drip. And so, not to get like too technical and nerdy, but it's pretty much like putting Drano down a pipe. So you're pretty much, I had an IV attached to my neck that was within my brain, and it was like dripping.
Oh my god, that is
down
disgusting. Oh my god!
To dissolve the blood clot.
Oh my god.
And I was in neuro ICU, and it was really intense. I know, like, my mom was so, like, everyone was so worried about me.
Of course, it's so hard. I remember, like, my parents were worried about me for a fucking ski accident, let alone a fucking brain thing.
Yeah. So, but, like, I was still in so much bliss during this time. Like, I cannot lie. Like, I was so blissful.
So he was also, like, partially the drugs?
It was definitely partially the drugs.
Like, they really calmed me down.
And then at the same time, I had, like, really traumatic experiences. Like, hearing Code Blue in the middle of the night was always so frightening for me.
What, at uni?
No, like, in the hospital. So, like, at night, like, I would hear code blue, and that means that someone's, like, their heartbeat stopping.
Yeah.
And so, like, I had experiences like that. I had experiences when they would give me anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah.
And the nurses would try to wake me up in the middle of the night. I would, like, swear at them and tell them to, like, go fuck themselves. So that was...
That's the worst thing about hospital, being woken up, like, every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
It's so shit.
Yeah.
Are you alive? Are you alive? Yes. Fuck off.
Yeah, well, they'd have to take all your vitals.
I know. God, yeah.
And then I would apologize in the morning. I'd be like, was I mean tonight or was I nice?
Yeah.
So definitely some really interesting memories being there. Anyways, so they clear up the blood clot and they pretty much tell me I need to stay on blood thinners for a while. And by that time, that's when I got out of the hospital. My body hurt. I had, like, lost probably 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, it was insane. Like,
Yeah.
I had lost so much weight so quickly. I was so weak. I get back to my college apartment, and my room is fucking flooded.
Fuck.
And so I'm literally moving shit out with my mom and my roommates.
Post-brain surgery.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's at the point, and also there was fires, really bad fires that year at the hospital, so the hospital smelled like a fire. They almost evacuated us. So at that point, I was just like, get me the fuck out of Colorado. Like, I love this place and I want to go back, but, like, I need to go home for a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
And so I go back to California, and I get on a really good regimen of pretty much sleeping like a cat, about, like, 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was eating really light, like I was obsessed with oranges and tomato soup and sparkly water.
Yeah.
It's like all I loved.
Yeah.
And started meditating.
Yeah.
And started listening to, like, Deepak Chopra guided meditations and writing. That's, like, all I did every single day. And it was
beautiful.
Like, it was a really lovely time.
Yeah, so how fucking nice. Just meditate all day and sleep.
Yeah, it felt good, and my mindset was like I was going to heal from this, and I knew it.
Of course.
And during the time, I was really adamant to get back to uni and to get back into my studies and heal. And so I kind of just, like, during that time, I explored, like, I went and visited my aunt and did horseback riding, and I wasn't even supposed to do that, but I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
If I'm... Like, I need to live every single day. Like, it's the last, in a sense. So, then right before that, I was down in Southern California, and I get a doctor's call in Northern California, and I was so sick of the doctors. Like, I was spending also a lot of time there.
Yeah, of course.
And I get a call that they found something else in my brain, and I need another surgery. And so, 3 days before Christmas, I have a scheduled surgery.
Babe, I fucking get this. I'm sorry, there is something about having surgery on Christmas where it makes it 20 times worse. Mm-hmm. That was the worst part about my ski accident, that it was Christmas time.
Yeah.
Like, it is unimaginably terrible. Like, especially if you're a person that loves Christmas. And I love Christmas. Like, it's probably my favorite day of the whole year.
Yeah, so I watched Elf on repeat.
Beautiful.
I was very high.
Yeah.
And my doctors were very sexy.
Oh, okay. What is it about, like, whenever you're like, I don't need sexy men right now, they will be sexy?
Yeah.
I get that.
This is
like,
so...
you're like looking terrible. You're like crying.
This is so embarrassing, but I get it because even for tonight, I dressed a little bit nicer. Because, like, I wanted to just feel more elevated.
Yeah.
I fucking curled my hair the day before the surgery.
Babe, no, the amount of times, I shit you not, before surgery with my knees, I fake tanned, I've curled my hair, I go with makeup because I'm like, I'm gonna run into somebody fucking hot. Like, even when I had my ski accident, my surgeon, like, he was fucking fixing me. You're because a man is fixing you, there is sexual attraction, right? He wasn't exactly that terrible looking, always cute. Why are doctors always fucking cute?
Yeah, they were gorgeous.
Oh, fuck it. Maybe it's like a ski doctor thing, or like a, you know, like, I had my surgery in Lake Tahoe, he was cute. Yeah. And then Colorado, maybe everybody needs to just come to Colorado and hang around the doctors.
Well, this was at Stanford Hospital.
Oh, okay.
Neurosurgeon.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even more sexy. Like, you're fixing my brain. You're so smart, so
One of them
intelligent.
was, like, kind of a dick.
Okay.
And then the other one was, like, hot and sweet.
Oh, fuck.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Anyways, had that surgery and had, like, the most surreal experiences being a 19-year-old in the hospital. And in Boulder, I got I had my own room. So, like, I had full privacy. When I was at Stanford, I shared rooms.
Oh, God.
And that's what really, like, woke me and shook me.
Oh, that is so bad sharing a room.
It was just so surreal with who I shared rooms with. Like, I shared a room with a girl that was pretty close to me in age, that was an athlete, and her entire head was, like, stapled. And I remember, like, trying to talk to her just to make sure that she was okay. And was just, like, so freaked out and kind of, like, heartbroken for this other person and soul. And then the other person that I shared a room with was in a coma, and their family was literally saying goodbye to them. And I witnessed all of that at 19. And it really, really, like, shook.
They should not be allowed to do that in, like, a fucking shared room.
I know. But it was
the energy of that.
I know. It was
and you're, like, marinating in that energy.
It was intense. But I was in each room for, like, a day. It was, like, a quicker surgery than not. So, anyways, dying to get home.
Yeah.
That Christmas. I don't really remember Christmas that year, but I was so excited to go back to school. So, pretty much the doctor clears me, says, like, I have to be on blood thinners for a couple more months, and then once I went back to get my head checked, then they would, like, make the call of whether or not. They didn't want to keep me on them for too long.
Of course, yeah.
And so, I go back to school, and I just, like, was so excited to be there, had, like, the most positive attitude. My friends, I remember during the time, just were like, you were so positive throughout all of that, and I feel like that's what really got me through it.
Yeah. That and faith and trust.
Yeah.
Like, and knowing that it's for a higher purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think I would have been able to get through, because although the physical element of surgery is bad, personally, I think the emotional and mental side of it is worse.
Yeah.
The fact that you lose all independence, the fact that you are relying on people, the fact that, like, you can't, I mean, I'm assuming you had to, like, rely on a lot of help. Like, when I had my ski accident, it was, like, couldn't even wipe my own fucking bum. Like, it is, like, dehumanizing. And I think that's the worst part of it.
Yeah.
That you kind of lose yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I actually felt like the closest thing that I'd ever feel like this in this lifetime would be prison. And I was like, knock on wood, like, I never go to prison, but, like,
it felt like that.
It felt like prison to me.
You're in your own prison.
Yeah, I had a moment. I pulled out an IV once, and, like, blood. Like, I wanted to be out of the hospital so badly. Like, the air quality for me was really hard. And
you guys are used to, like, the fucking cleanest air here.
Yeah. Yeah. And just going from wanting to be, like, a young college student, I was so blindsided by all of that happening.
Yeah.
You know, it was really a trippy, surreal experience.
And it's really hard on your family and your friends.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't often talk about that. And, like, I wasn't really aware of it until well after my last surgery with my leg, when I was talking to Mum, and I realized, you know, she kind of told me the severity of the impact that it had on her and my dad. And I had no idea. Like, I knew that it was hard for them seeing me in that much pain, but I had no idea that they were, like, crying themselves to sleep every night. Like, I had no idea that they were in so much pain, and, like, that like, my heart hurts thinking about that, you know.
Yeah, totally.
And it does feel like you're in prison. It feels, I mean you would have been in the same situation of the positivity and the faith. It really does get you through it, knowing it's okay, it's happening for a reason. And with my ski accident, it was always, it's happening for a reason, it's fine. But you have those moments of, like, a full-blown tantrum. You have those moments of, why is this happening to me? Why me? Like, 100%.
Yeah.
That mental aspect is the hardest shit to get through. Even with doing physio.
Yeah.
It's this constant mental battle.
Yeah.
And it's fucking emotionally draining, and it's hard.
Yeah. And I must say I was so lucky that I didn't I mean, I lost 30% in my vision, so I lost my peripheral vision.
Wow.
Which is kind of hilarious that I'm a photographer now.
Wow, yeah.
And that was really the only damage, and, like, I have a whooshing noise in my ear that I get sometimes when I lay down. Like, I have, like, little things that still happen, but they're very subtle. But yeah, I felt so lucky and blessed for my life, and it was such an awakening.
100%. What do you feel like the purpose was, actually?
I mean, it was my spiritual awakening. Not that I had not had ones that were closer to it before that. Like, in high school, I was very up and down with my emotions, and I started doing yoga, and that was, like, the only thing that helped me. But I feel like it really woke me up to just, like, live and realize to be in this present moment. And yeah, it was the spiritual awakening that you read books about, or that you hear people of, like, them changing their path, and it was that chance for me to choose the life that I wanted to live, and to realize that I actually had a choice.
Oh, so amazing. Are you at a stage now where you feel like those few things that are left over, like the whooshing and the loss of peripheral vision, that you can see that's part of your story?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't notice them as much now. Like, the vision thing it's only on my left side.
Yeah.
I've actually started having the belief that I could heal it.
Oh, you 100% can.
Yeah.
100%.
The whooshing has gone down the more that I think it has to do with my lymphatic system. So the more that I do, like, self-massage, Abhyanga, which is, like, an oil massage, the more that I keep on, like, nourishing my body, the less that I notice
Beautiful.
the symptoms.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
You could 100% heal that peripheral vision. You just need to start, like, pretending that you can see it.
Yeah.
And then it will come back. Like, it's just muscle memory.
Exactly.
Like, your brain can do it.
Yeah.
And the more that with my, like, for example, like, I have a lot of problems with it still. Like, it's not perfect. It doesn't feel perfect. It's fucking frustrating. I can't, when you, like, crouch down, you can, like, sit on your heels. Like, with a baby, I can't do that. I don't know if I'll ever be able to.
Oh, wow.
Which, to me, actually, like, it actually, like, hurts to think about that. It makes me feel, like, emotional, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to, like, sit with my kids on the floor like that. But I've learnt that it has to be part of my story.
Yeah.
And, like, if I can't fix it, I can't fix it.
Yeah.
And I think I can fix it eventually. It's just going to take a lot of fucking work. And the more that I had to do, obviously, a lot of surgeries, but for me, like, the energy side of this is also, like, so important. So after I had my first surgery, I had an abscess in my leg right after the first surgery, which is very unheard of, especially with somebody so young and so healthy. But it was because I had a catheter when I was in the hospital, and it was so traumatic, and I was holding the trauma from my bladder in my knee.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Yeah, so
it's so funny. I hated the catheters.
They are horrendous.
I refused them.
Yeah, so after my surgery, because it was a massively long surgery, and they had to put me under for so long and under such a heavy dose of anesthetic, when I woke up, my brain was awake, but my body wasn't. So my digestive system hadn't turned on, my organs weren't, like, working properly, and I couldn't poo. But when, like, I could feel that I needed to do a shit, but I couldn't shit. And I remember sitting on the toilet, and Mum sat on the toilet for, like, I'm not joking, not on the toilet, she sat on the floor, not joking, next to the toilet for, like, 3 hours, holding my leg up so that the blood wouldn't drain down. And I just kept trying to be like, come out. Like, all I want to do was a fucking good shit, right? And they had to shove a tablet up my bum to make my poo come out. And, I mean, it was great poo, but it was traumatic.
Yeah, I bet.
And, like, to them, it's not a big deal. They don't see it as anything, but it's dehumanizing. It is the worst experience you could ever ask for anybody to go through.
Yeah.
And I held so much of that trauma in my body, which contributed to the lack of my knee being able to heal. It actually healed it healed a lot faster than what the doctor thought it was going to heal. And I did a lot of meditation around it, a lot of gold light. But, like, I held trauma from the catheter and the bladder, like, down on my knee. And now when I do, body scans on my knee, there's no dense energy. The energies of my knee are the same, so they're both as happy as a pig in mud. But when it comes to me, like, kneeling or doing, like, certain, like, I basically can't put a pile of body weight through my knees and, like, kneel. And that's quite frustrating. But I know that over time it will disappear.
Yeah.
But you have to see it as part of your story.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it is part of my story. It has gotten me to where I am today.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been so, like, fuck, I need to do something more about my feminine if that didn't happen to me. Because that was literally, like, it literally broke my masculine side. It was like, stop. Like, on a physical level, stop. No, I'm sorry, it broke my feminine side. And on a physical level of, like, stop pushing and slow the fuck down. This is my left leg. And it's just fucking incredible.
It is incredible. And I definitely felt like there was a lot of hardness around me before this had happened, and there was a lot of softening.
Yeah.
And surrendering.
You have to be vulnerable.
From this whole experience.
These experiences, like, you have no other choice but to ask for help and rely on other people and be vulnerable and kind of, like, go into your cocoon again and go into, like, your mama's womb and just, like, be supported. Like, you don't, like, people are doing everything for you and you have to receive it.
Yeah.
You can't be like, no, I'm an individual fucking woman.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, no, I'm not actually. I need everybody around me. I can't shower. I can't make my own food. Like, it is a raw experience to go through, and it's also one that really, like, puts things into perspective for you. Yeah. Little things, like, it made me realize how grateful I was that in the middle of the night I could get up and take myself to the bathroom.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's those little tiny things that you realize, like, you take those little things for granted of being able to get your own glass of water, being able to make your own lunch, that some people don't get to do. And it can be taken away. And who is it? I think it's Brene Brown that talks about it in her documentary of, I think it's her, she interviews all these people that have had, like, injuries in terms of their motor skills and whatnot, and they've had like brain injuries. And the thing they miss the most is the little things.
Yeah.
They miss getting their own glass of water, taking themselves to the toilet. And those are the things that we're so often not grateful for.
Yeah.
We're only grateful for, like, the massive paychecks, the extensive holidays, which are all amazing. But the little things are actually the things that you need the most for, like, your humanity.
Yeah. And so, going on from that whole perspective, I felt like I've always been kind of like a kid where, like, I noticed little things, but after that I became hyper aware of it. And so, like, a drop of water on a leaf was, like, so beautiful to me, and the fact that I could go outside and see that was so amazing.
Oh my god, I actually like could cry just talking about this.
Yeah, so that's what was incredible. And just, like, so I moved back to Boulder, and I started, like, having rituals where I would, like, go down to the creek and, like, walk the creek, and it was, like, always so calming. And, like, walking the neighborhood during sunsets was, like, such a gift, or making dinner with my friends was such a gift.
It is.
And I felt like I truly lived life to my fullest after that, and was, like, definitely known as a bright light within my group of friends. And there was definitely trauma that I experienced during that time, and it's really interesting because it's taken 9 years to unravel it, and I still feel like I'm unraveling a lot of it. And I think that's what's so crazy, is that from these experiences that are stored in our body, that it's stored at such a cellular memory, like, it's like the DNA will keep on reproducing itself until you actually do something about it. So even in the past, like, 2 years, I've gone through so much unraveling of just the fear and the trauma of going through something like that at such a young age and not actually fully processing it. And it's really given me an understanding of, like, kids that get sick at a really young age, and then it, like, doesn't hit them until they're, like, having a midlife crisis. So that's been really, really beautiful, of just actually letting that unravel and me trusting my body and, like, seeing that it's the temple that it is.
It makes you have... I actually could, like, burst into fucking tears, and I'm just, like, we're talking about this, and I'm thinking about, like, Beaver Creek. Oh my god, I'm thinking about Beaver Creek and when I was last there, and, like, what it will be like when I'm back, and it just makes, like, I remember that first time that I could, like, walk, like, or even just, like, when I messaged you guys the other day, when I was, like, walking the trail, and I ran for 30 seconds, Like, I haven't done that in, like, 2 years.
Yeah.
And, like, you don't realize, like, for example, like, for ages, I would never let myself, like, train home at nighttime from an event because if God forbid there was something dangerous, I couldn't run. Like, I couldn't run away from things. I like, you're not able to protect yourself, you know?
Yeah.
And it wasn't a scenario of, like, oh, but the adrenaline that would be pumping through you would be able to do it. It's like, no, I didn't have the muscle in my leg to be able to run. Like, this shit takes so long. And even just, like, I, like, remember the first time that I could walk without my crutches or with one crutch from the bathroom, 5 steps from my bedroom, 5 steps to the bathroom. And, like, it just makes you realize, like, how amazing your body is.
Yeah.
And it makes you just, like, fuck, I don't even know what to say about it. Like, it's insane. And honestly, my ski accident was, like, the thing that made me have so much appreciation for my body. I never look at my body now and go, like, oh, you're too fat, you're not good enough, you're not toned enough. Like I actually, like, from my ski accident, I don't know whether it will ever go away, but I actually have a lump on my left side of my leg of just this, like it's fat, but it's like my bum, like, slid because obviously, like, you lose all the muscle, and it slid to the side of my thigh, and I don't know whether it'll ever go away, but I kind of love it about me now because it tells a story, right?
Oh, quirk.
Yeah, like, if you look at both my knees, this, like, my left kneecap still has a pile of scar tissue in it. It'll probably eventually go away. It takes a long time to break down.
Yeah.
But, like, you can see that in a picture, and, like, my leg looks a bit different to the other leg. And, like, I just can't look at my body and judge it. Like, I just think, like, I was told after my ski accident that if I had the same accident on the outside of my leg, not the inside, I would have lost my leg.
Wow.
And it would have had to be amputated because it would have burst in one of the big, massive blood vessels, and I would have lost it.
Wow.
And when I heard that, it just made me go, like I just, like, can't, I have nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Like, my body is working. It got me through the most, like, stressful experience of my life where I could feel my body thinking it was going to die. Like, I remember lying in the snow and just wishing that a helicopter would come and grab me, and I would fall asleep. Like, I thought when you were in that much pain, you would be knocked out, like, because your body's in that much pain. I don't even want to know what the amount of pain you would have to be then to be knocked out. Like, your own body, like, knock you unconscious.
Well, the adrenaline's, like,
I know, it keeps you going. Yeah, I know. But that ski accident made me realize how sexy and how beautiful my body is, and, like, my confidence went from, like, good to, like, extraordinary after as in, like, my body confidence of just, like, I don't give two shits what someone is like about my body. If they don't like it, cool, and don't fucking look.
Yeah.
Like, that's my attitude now, and not from, like, a mean way, but from, like, I fucking love my body. I have so much appreciation for it. Every day it is healing still from that ski accident. The stress that it went through was a fight or flight. I am dying, keep myself alive. I can't complain about my body whatsoever. Yeah. Like, it is a fucking temple. And I'm not just saying that to be like, oh, my body's a temple. Like,
no, it truly is.
It's a fucking temple.
Yeah.
Like,
which is interesting you're bringing this up.
Yeah.
Because it definitely plays into my story. Just a little backstory.
Yeah.
In high school, I totally had an eating disorder.
Yeah.
Like, totally messed up relationship with food.
Oh, me too, yeah.
And
I think pretty much every girl did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm speaking to all of you.
Yeah.
Because we all are told at such a young age, or I grew up in LA for part of my life, and, like, compared myself.
Of course.
So hardcore. And yeah, after that whole thing happened, all of that shut down. And I completely went into my yoga practice and went into such a, like, calmer, more spiritual place.
Yeah.
That was such a gift.
It's a beautiful place to be in.
So much quieter.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I felt like part of this was, like, if you were to ask fate or destiny, I felt like this was fate in a sense for all of this to happen. It was so powerful, and it felt so almost karmic. Yeah. With the way that it all unraveled.
I knew when I had my ski accident, like, it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
I knew when I was lying in the hospital bed, I was so upset, obviously, like, second day of a 5-week ski holiday, Christmas Eve, not exactly ideal. I was so upset, but I actually felt so much guilt because like dad had paid for an expensive ski holiday and I fucking wrecked it. Like, you know what I mean? So much guilt. And my dad never, the first thing I said when I had the ski accident, I looked at dad and I said, I'm so sorry. And my dad was like, what are you fucking sorry about?
Aww.
But like, I was just so sorry, because I think once you are out of school and you're working for yourself, you realize how expensive things are.
Yeah.
You realize that a ski holiday is probably the most expensive holiday you could take a family on. Like, especially around that fucking peak time. Like, you couldn't choose a more expensive holiday.
Yeah.
And my beautiful dad had... Are you gonna cry?
No.
Oh, my beautiful dad, like... Anyway, whatever. I was in hospital and I just knew it was happening for a reason. I didn't know the reason, but I knew it was happening for a reason. And I wasn't, and back then I wasn't as spiritual as I am now. I didn't have the same amount of trust. I don't even think I really knew the law of attraction to this level. I definitely wasn't in, my work has expanded so fast, and at such a deep level, from this ski accident. I felt like it opened me up to all these new things. But yeah, I knew that it was happening to me for a reason. It was all going to be a beautiful divine thing. And I've met a lot of the reasons, but I think there's more to come. Yeah. But if I didn't have that trust, I don't know what I would do. I actually don't know how people live in the mindset that everything happens to me and not everything happens for me. So for me, it's everything happens for you, not to you, is what I believe. And I actually don't know how people don't operate with some sort of trust, whether it's God, the universe, Buddha, whatever it is.
Yeah.
A higher power. Like, I actually don't know how you could live without that, because every day I rely on that. Every day it makes my life easier knowing that, like, things are actually not in my control. They're in a better control. That's all happening for a reason.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that a lot of the time it's our intellect that, like, the wrong intellect makes you think that things are happening to you or being out of control. And I would say that sometimes these kind of things happen so that you can wake up.
100%.
And, yeah, I mean, as you know now, I'm super into meditation and just like being in nature and art.
It's beautiful.
And all the things.
Yeah.
So.
This has been an amazing conversation.
Yeah.
I can't believe I cried in it. What the fuck? But it's funny, I just keep thinking, I think also being here in Colorado, and it's just getting closer and closer to the ski season, and I'm really preparing for it. And I continuously see myself, like, sitting on that sofa, remembering the conversations I was having with my boyfriend. Like, my boyfriend broke up with me because I wasn't texting him enough during that time, right? Because I was, like, on cloud nine on the longest list, like, the longest list of drugs. I remember taking this picture of, like, my elixir in the morning, before everyone went to go skiing, and I would stay at home, and then mum and dad would, like, swap shifts, and I'd stay on the sofa until mum would come home. And then once she'd come home, she could then take me to the bathroom, and she'd make me some lunch and get me some water. And it was a fucking hard time. Like,
how long ago was that?
This was, oh my God, what the fuck? This was end of 2017. Beaver Creek would have been beginning of 2018.
Okay.
So it
not
was
that long ago.
It was, wait, no, that's not right. No, not beginning of last year. The year beforehand.
2017.
I think it was 2016 that I had the ski accident. Yeah, and 2017. Because the whole of last year... Fuck, maybe it was. When did I move to Sydney? Yeah, it was. It was the beginning of last year. Is that right? Yeah, right now we're in September. Yeah, beginning of last year. So beginning of 2018, I think. And, like, obviously time flies. But I just remember so distinctly, like... just these, like, little things, and it's incredible how these, like, tiny little memories will have such a huge impact on you. And I don't think I ever want to let them go, because I think they're really humbling things. Like, these, I don't think I ever want to get, I can get rid of them if I want to in my brain, but I don't think I actually ever want to, because they're not traumatic things. They're actually, like, the most humbling experiences.
Yeah.
And they're beautiful. But what's really important, so actually you said before about like muscles and what we hold in our body, and like what I was saying to you the other day of doing physio and just doing these certain exercises, and like I just walked out of there bawling my eyes out because like I was just like frustrated. All the frustration came up of like it being so fucking hard, and like will I ever get there, and this is like so annoying and it's so hard, and I feel like my body's letting me down, but I know it's not. And you just think like these are experiences that I see so much beauty about my ski accident. There's so much beauty about it. Yes, I get emotional, but I get emotional because it was one of the most heart-opening experiences I've ever had. And I'm so grateful that I'm actually so grateful that I had the ski accident, as horrible as it was. But people have horrendous childhood traumas, and you hold that shit in your body, and they aren't things that you want to hold on to.
Yeah.
They're not heart opening things, they're heart closing things. And like, you know, we've done a lot of work to get rid of a lot of the trauma that was surrounding it in terms of the negative things, so we only really see the positives of them now, of our experiences. But for those people that haven't done the work around their trauma, like that shit is causing serious physical manifestations.
Yeah.
It's actually a documentary.
Disease.
It's a documentary on Netflix called Heal. And it's this lady a lady that goes around and interviews all these people, and it's remarkable, but it's also like not surprising, and like it's so fucking obvious. Of course, if you're holding on to all this physical dense energy in your body, of course it's going to manifest into something crap. Like there is no, like it's not uncanny with the amount of disease that we have, and the amount of stress and the amount of trauma and the amount of shit going on in society, and we are having disease after disease after disease. We're all getting so sick. We're all having all these physical manifestations, and it's insane.
It is insane.
It's fucking insane.
And I feel like the only other thing that I really want to add to this conversation is like learning meditation.
Yeah.
And like how healing that has been, because like you seriously unravel everything through that.
Especially in our society. So meditation is masculine, dance is feminine, and you can do meditation through dance. But I've realized actually just over the past few months, I stopped meditating for a while and I was dancing a lot more. But I mean, this is obviously depending on the person. I'm very fiery, so for me, my adrenals are the thing that always like cause me the issues, because I'm very, very A-type. But in our society, you need stillness.
You do, and I've come through, I mean, the practice that I do is Vedic meditation, which is very well known in Australia.
Yeah.
But I think that sitting in that space and realizing that you can literally transcend anything, and that there is no past, present, or future, that it's all one time, has been the most healing thing for me, because I've been able to even change my story around this whole blood clot and around everything. And that's where I've really been able to find myself to heal, is by empowering myself through this story instead of disempowering myself.
Yeah.
And I think from the time that it happened, I could have gone a completely other way and let everything unravel, not going back to uni. But I made the choice to do it, and it wasn't just easy. It was fucking work.
Yeah.
Like,
this shit ain't fucking easy.
Yeah, like
no matter how much faith and trust you have, it is not easy.
And I was pre-med at the time. Like I wanted to become a doctor.
Wow.
And looking in at such a different lens and perspective on our medical world, it was kind of ironic, because in high school I had to write this thesis for one of my classes that was like a pre-med class, and I wrote it on preventative healthcare, and realized like how important that is. And I feel like meditation in itself is preventative healthcare.
Okay, so in Australia, we have a quote-unquote preventative healthcare system. We fucking do not. Okay, so when you study at uni, like, it's what I learned in my bachelor, that we have a preventative healthcare system. There is nothing preventative about our healthcare system, right? Meditation will be an example of that, right? Energy healing, okay? Clearing your space, yoga, exercise, self-love, childhood healing. That is preventative healthcare. Fucking the pill is not preventative healthcare.
No. But anyways, a teacher that was a doctor that I had a class with pretty much broke down disease in such a different way that had ever been explained to me, of how it's the root cause of a disease you'll never be able to find in Western medicine.
Yeah.
Necessarily. And Western medicine will save your life.
Oh, 100%. It saved both of our lives.
Yeah.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah. But it's the fact of doing the small things that add up to the big.
100%.
And so I feel like since then I've just been so grateful for, beautiful crystals like this.
I know, where's my other one? Here's my other one. I want to hold it too.
And having a daily practice that helps me clear out my mind so that I don't develop more disease.
Yeah.
And more stress in my body.
Yeah.
And
stress is a really important thing to constantly be kind of, what's the word? Like, counteracting.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, you want to be preventing. I say that, like, you want to be actually preventing your response to stress is really important.
Yeah.
So our nervous system is, like, so wired to respond so quickly to stressful situations. But you can train your body that something stressful can happen. You can be like, okay. And you actually won't let your body get stressed. And I've trained myself now with that, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But the meditation, what other things do you like doing? Journaling?
I love journaling.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that's like my do or die is meditation. And so that's why I'm bringing it up in this, because I feel like it's been everything to me in the sense of unraveling my entire story and really breaking it apart. And really getting into a place of bliss. I mean, the meditation that I do is pretty much your mind goes beyond thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's effortless.
Yeah.
And simple and natural and innocent. And so then creating your life and mirroring your life on that actual foundation and having a foundation where you're actually seeing that once you clear your mind, you're going to have to clear your space. You're going to have to clear anything that's energetically holding you back.
100%.
Has been amazing. So, I mean, I go through phases now. Like, I've gone through a crystal phase. I've gone through reading spiritual book phases. I've gone through, like, fuck all of this. I'm going to rebel and, like, go out and party and, like, dance my ass off phase. Like, I've done all the phases, and they're all healing in some way or another. And I feel like the universe or nature is just going to really show you what you need for the time. You just have to open your eyes to it.
100%. And this is what I talk about like, I don't advocate for find one thing and stick to it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Because as a woman especially, we have different archetypes. We have that version of ourselves that wants to go out and just let your hair down and dance until daylight. We have the version of ourselves, we want to be in a cocoon and just, like, meditate and journal for days on end.
Yeah.
We have all these different versions of ourselves, and the more that we can actually surrender to them and fulfill those parts of ourselves, the more in that bliss state we're going to be.
100%.
And I love meditation, but for me, what is so amazing is sitting and watching things. So, like, just being here and, like, sitting in the morning and staring at the mountain. Or, like, I'm gonna fucking cry again. What is up with me?
Well, that's a meditation.
Like, seriously. Yeah, oh, yeah. Or, like, staring at the snow falling. Like, to me, when snow is falling, I turn into a child again.
It's mesmerizing.
And I turn into a child again. Snow is so beautiful. It's like stuff is falling from the sky, but there is no sound. Like, it is magical. There is just something so magical about it. And I mean, I don't necessarily have a particular morning routine, but I have things in my toolbox that I pull out from, depending on what my body needs and what I feel like my soul needs.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be working straight away in the morning. Sometimes it's reading, sometimes it's meditation, but however, I actually I'm doing like a 30-day of meditation every day, tick it off, just to get back into it. Because I realized from living in Sydney before I came here of how stressed Australia was making me, and how I actually realized that my body was still very, very stressed from my ski accident subconsciously.
Yeah.
And I wasn't quite aware of that until pretty much I moved from Sydney, and I realized, like, holy shit, my body's actually so stressed and I'm not realizing it. And it's not from work, it's actually still from my ski accident. So I think another part of, like, this healing journey is, especially with big shit like what we've gone through, especially like your fucking brain, that isn't something that's going to be fixed in 6 months.
Yeah.
That is a long process. Your body thinks you're dying. You're under a lot of drugs, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And you have to give yourself compassion and time. And this is something that I need to give myself right now, of compassion and time. And I feel like I need a good fucking cry after this interview. Like, fuck. I can't, like, God, I feel like going back to Beaver Creek and the skiing again is going to be so emotional. Like, it's going to be so fucking emotional.
Yeah, and I mean, that for me has been going back to Boulder.
Yeah.
And I've always had a pole there. And my meditation teacher's been there. And it's been a continuous place for me to learn things.
Yeah.
And I've really started actually thanking the land when I'm there for what it's teaching me.
Beautiful.
Because I realized, I mean, I've gone through heartbreak there. I've gone through
blood clots.
highest blood clot, but like also the highest memories.
Yeah.
Some of the best memories of my life have been there. And then,
oh my God, isn't it funny? It's like those, wow, that just occurred
the
to me.
highs and lows, like the peaks
They're the
and the
same
valleys.
places.
Exactly. And I think
my favorite memories are like Beaver Creek and skiing, and they also, not the worst memories, but the hardest times as well have been there.
And I believe that, you know, this land or wherever you are, there's always something to be taught and learned, and it's just listening to it. And it took me so long to come to terms with that. I used to drive by the hospital and my chest would tighten. And the hospital was down the street from my meditation teacher's house. Yeah. So I had to see it a lot and get over it. Yeah. And that in itself was like such a healing process of just understanding the memory and knowing that it was okay, and like almost telling my inner child that it was going to be okay, and that wasn't the present moment or time. But it has taken me years to get there, and it's funny because the hospital now is being shut down.
Oh wow.
Like it's like all, but I used to have dreams where I used to walk through there and I would check on myself to make sure I was okay. And I talked to my teacher about it, and she was saying how I was pretty much changing my past by doing that and going in with my subconscious mind or whatever is actually, I mean, it's all one thing.
Yeah.
But I was going in and I was actually changing my past and changing my history.
Yeah.
By letting myself know that everything was all okay.
Yeah.
Which was fascinating.
I cannot wait for the podcast interview I do after my first ski day.
Yes.
I can't even imagine the feeling that I'm going to feel when I get down the first run. I will be in a fucking heap. Like, if I'm, like, crying now, I'm going to be a fucking mess, but it's going to be so amazing.
Yeah. And I think it's really inspiring of how much you honor your body, and not just your body, but, like, your mind, your spirit, your soul. You're honoring every single part of you and listening to that, because you could have just gone the other way and not listened. But I think this is why you're here doing the work that you're doing, is Seriously. Because people need to hear this, and people need to know that they can heal themselves too. And that I think that the whole reason why we have these experiences, from that question that you asked me, is because you sometimes have to teach yourself, especially if you're a healer, like you or me. Like, we're both definitely healers. And I truly believe, like, everyone's a healer. Yeah. Especially women.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have a womb. We are healers.
Is that we have to heal ourselves. No one can do it for us. Yeah. And part of that is receiving what's around us. Part of that is receiving the help. Part of that is receiving the love. And then the other part is, like, really believing in yourself and really believing that you will heal yourself, even if it seems impossible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Shall we end it there?
Yeah.
That was so amazing. Thank you, Lexi.
Thank you.
That was so amazing. Okay. Amazing, right? Fucking amazing. We got off the, I pressed pause and I just, like, bawled my eyes out for her. But actually it was actually this really healing experience to me in regards to my ski accident, and just, like, the gratitude that I have for my body and for that time. And I don't think I ever actually fully mourned. I think I cried a lot about the pain and the frustration, but I didn't cry a lot about, like, my poor me, my poor body. And you are sometimes allowed to have that victim for a moment and just be like, oh my God, and really feel that in your body, because that crying, it is a release and it does feel good. It feels really good to cry sometimes. So I hope you loved that episode, ladies. I sure did. And I hope you're loving all these Cacao Convos. I really hope you are loving them. Have an amazing day, and And I hope this hasn't like made you really sad, this episode or anything. But I do hope that it was a beautiful thing that we got to share with you. I'll talk to you soon. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you got lots of chicken nuggets out of today's episode. I would be really, really grateful if you'd be able to leave me a review and a star rating that you think is appropriate, hopefully 5. And if you could share this podcast so that I can help more women live a life of flow and ease, I would be so fucking grateful. Make sure you tag me in it on Instagram so I can personally thank you, because I know so many of my clients have found me literally because their friends have posted about my podcast on their Instagram story. And I just want to help as many women as possible. So by you sharing it, I would be so fucking grateful, and I'm sure your friends would be too. If you do want to welcome me, please do check out my website for all those details. And of course, you can DM me on Instagram with any other questions. If you have any podcast things you want me to talk about, any ideas, any feedback, I am always open to it, and I always love hearing what you guys have to say. So please don't hesitate about that either. I will catch you on the flip side. Have an amazing day or night wherever you are.